As every new Miku Expo tour approaches, many people hope for particular songs to perform at the concerts. And with the US being the first overseas location Miku ever performed at all the way back in 2011, it may be a surprise to hear that some songs have never been performed in the US or any of North America. So here's to hoping this video gets outdated super quick after the 2026 tour and find out some of the Vocaloid songs that have never been performed in North America. And I'm just going to start off with the most shocking one, and that is Rolling Girl. Somehow, over the 5 tours that have visited the region, Rolling Girl has not been performed once at any North American show, and it is now the only Woboka song that has not been performed in the region. And I know this is one people are begging are on the 2026 set list, hoping that it's finally the time that it does perform, especially because it performed at Miku Expo Asia 2025, so people have very high hopes that it will roll over into 2026. Another song I'm super surprised has never been performed in North America is ODDS&ENDS. Granted, the song hasn't performed overseas super often compared to other songs like Melt and Tell Your World, but I still find it super surprising it has never performed in the region. The song performed both at Miku Expo 2019 and Europe 2020, which was during the Miku Expo 5th anniversary tour, so it seems possible it was supposed to perform in North America, but couldn't due to the 2020 tour being cancelled, as that tour was supposed to be the end of the 5th anniversary tour. But since it seems World Is Mine and Tell Your World may be taking a backseat now, it is very possible ODDS&ENDS could take their spot in 2026. But speaking of the cancelled tour, there are many songs that were on the Europe setlist that many people believe were supposed to feature on that cancelled tour, and as a result missed out on them. One of which was Tio, that I've seen so many people upset that they missed out on, as well as Bring It On, which was on an absolute roll of performing at basically every concert at the time, so was very likely going to be there. Ohedo Julia Night and Jump for Joy were also on the Europe setlist, and I think the latter has a decent chance of being chosen at some point if Luka continues to have a duet spot in the setlist. Another Kagamine duet that has never been performed in North America is Rocky, which funnily enough, both Rocky and Bring It On were performed at the Asia 2025 tour, so could they roll over into 2026? Shake It is another I know many people have been hoping for years, however it was never possible due to the performance needing a larger screen, which Miku Expo didn't have. But now that they've switched to a much larger LED screen, it is now big enough for Shake It to perform, as seen by it performing at Asia 2025, so it is very possible it could roll over into 2026 as well. Since the tour is candy themed, I think it's fit to mention 3 candy themed songs that have never been performed in North America, which are Sweet Magic, Dreaming Choo Choo, and Amazing Dolls. All of which I think will have a decent chance of performing if Krypton is going to feed into the candy theme, but historically they have never abided by Miku Expo's themes when it comes to picking songs, and have only really leaned into doing it recently at Magical Mirai 2025. However, I can still see at least one of these featuring, my highest bet being on Dreaming Choo Choo taking up Luka's duet spot, even though it isn't a duet. As for Amazing Dolls, they'd have to give Mako an extra slot, or give up the Mako and Kaito duet slot, or even sacrificing the Kagamine duet slot, and I think Rin has a lot of competitive songs that could potentially perform at the 2026 tour, and since fitting the theme isn't a priority, they'd likely just choose a song like they normally would, which Sweet Magic might not be in the running for. But as it stands, all of these are yet to perform in North America. But there are many other songs that previously couldn't perform at any Miku Expo due to Miku Expo's smaller screen size that are now possible to perform due to the switch to the larger LED screen, such as Sweet Devil, Calc, Baby Maniacs, and Decorator, which featured on the Asia tour, so many are hopeful it will carry over, with another high hope song being Blessing. I definitely think Decorator and Blessing have a solid chance of performing at the 2026 tour, as both very recently performed overseas as soon as overseas had the larger screen size. Lost Ones Weeping is another song that needed a larger screen, and has finally returned after not being performed for 10 years in 2026. Nostalogic has also never been performed in North America, and I know many people have been hoping to scream out MEIKO, as well as many people wanting to spell out Culture Shock during Culture, which I was really surprised didn't perform at the 2024 tour. A few of Deco Nina's songs have never been performed in the region, including Two Breaths Walking, Hibana, and Yume Yume. Blue Planet as well, which has now been performed overseas for the first time, so is now a possibility and may get higher around Miku's anniversary. Eraser Zero is another song I see many people hope for, and until now it was unclear if it was able to perform on a small screen, as it never had before, but now that Expo's screen size is updated, it is now a confident possibility, as well as Suki Kirai and Animal Fortune Telling. Stardust Utopia has also never performed in North America, surprisingly, as well as No Logic, and Hello Worker, and another song that could take Luka's duet spot, ID, which did feature at Asia 2025, once more due to the larger screen. A few classic songs that have yet to perform in the region include When the First Love Ends, which does now have a new render which could increase its chances of performing compared to before, Time Machine, Albino, Yes, and Though My Song Has No Form, which is one of the only slower songs that hasn't yet been performed in the region. And it may be surprising to hear that not a single Pinocchio-P song has been performed in North America. So that includes Commonwealth Domination, Nice to Meet You Mr. Earthling, Slow Motion, All I Need Are Things I Like, It's Matsuri Hey Come On, and Goddish, which is the newest performed of the bunch, and I know many people are hoping for it as it performed at the Asia tour. And we also have Alien, Solar System Disco, Viva Happy, and I Know Uta. Then we have Cat Food, 2D Dream Fever, Clockwork Clown, and Darling Dance, all of which have only ever performed at one Miku Expo event ever, and Clockwork Clown was only online and not in person. While Doppelganger has yet to perform at any Miku Expo, along with Patchwork Staccato, Hated by Life Itself, and Brain Revolution Girl. My Love is Hellfire is another Mako song I see many people hope for, but if it does finally grace North America, I just hope you're wearing earplugs because Mako will shatter your eardrums. New Human Race, Telecaster B-Boy, and Wintry Winds all performed during other 2024 tours or Asia 2025, which many hope could mean they could come to North America soon after. There is also the remaining songs from Miku Expo 2023 that have yet to be performed in person, which could perform in North America in the future, which include Acceleration, 1+1, Wonderlast, Karma, Ego Rock, and Death Should Not Have Taken Thee. Magical Mirai 2025 introduced many new songs, and typically there is a song from the previous Mirai in the Miku Expo tours, with the song from this event people are most hopeful for being Young Girl A, which I'm sure many people never expected to be performed live. And another song from this event was Maga Maga, which might skip North America. But the other songs from this event include Play With Fire, Lavi, Vanish, Genten, Flyway, Meteor, and Do The Rock. So if a song from this event carries over into 2026, it will be one of these. And since Project Voltage is taking place just before the North American tour, it could be possible a Pokimiku song will perform at the tour, as one of these songs has already performed outside of Japan at Miku With You 2025. But there are also many other songs that have never performed in North America due to the fact there was only one tour in the region that took place between late 2018 and 2025, so many songs have live debuted and built up over those years, which I'm now going to quickly list them all out, which are Atakaito, Dreamless Dreams, Reverse Universe, Cybernetic, This Is the Happiness and Peace of Mind Committee, Kill Carry On, Never Die, Burenai ID, Clear Weather, Deep Sea City Underground, Main Character, Remade Blue Longing, Until I Throw Away My Dreams and Become an Adult, Wasn't Able to Become a Super Cat, YY, Shabon, Star of Heaven, Resonance Between You and Me, Perfectionist Complex, Upedia, Tell Me Answer, Starry Sky Iconograph, Cendrillon, Rainy Snowdrop, Interviewer, Good As Yeah, Flash, I Feel Kinda Lonely, Some Days Coming, Animal, Vocaloid Coliseum, Nova, Hedgehog, Red Landmarker, Way Anchor, Retreat, Drop Pop Candy, Fells, Knife Knife Knife, Midnight Surf, Tin Plates Dance, Chaotic Boogie, Call, Tycoon, Reality, Pulse of the Meteor, Odo, Lost and Found, A Moment in the Sun, PSI, Caged Flower, and Silhouette Dancing in the Night, all of which are songs that could feasibly perform one day in 2026 or in the future. But there are even more songs that have never been performed in the region that debuted prior to 2018, which are these ones here, but some of these are really unlikely to perform as they haven't been performed in a literal decade or more, but they could still very much make an appearance one day, as Krypton have recently proven they've been digging through the archives and pulling many songs out again. And even though this video is about North America as a whole, we all know that the US has had the most visits out of all of the countries, and because of that, many songs have been ruled out of this video since they performed in the US, but they have never been performed in Canada or Mexico. For example, Canada has missed out on some very iconic songs. The most shocking one to hear would be Melt, and that is due to Canada being excluded from the 2018 tour, which included missing out on Senbon Sakura, Luka Night Fever, Meltdown, Romeo and Cinderella, and our Miku You For Real. And while Mexico was lucky to catch these songs at the 2018 tour, both Mexico and Canada have missed out on another number of iconic songs because of Mykonopolis in LA and Miku Expo 2014 only visiting US locations, which include missing out on Poppy Po, Melancholic, Pianoforte Scandal, Electric Angel, Fireflower, The First Sound, Kokoro, Spica, Ikotoba, 1/6 Out of the Gravity, Look This Way Baby, The Snow White Princesses, Open Close Demons and the Dead, Torinoko City, Vocaloid in Love, Love Colored Ward, Starduster, Yellow, Colorful Melody, Kaido Song I Can't Say, and a few other songs. With Krypton's secrecy and spontaneousness, we can never fully predict a tour's setlist, so quite honestly, many of these songs could feature on the upcoming 2026 tour, and also don't think the setlists are restricted to only songs mentioned in this video. Many songs have repeated and performed again from a previous tour, but newer and never performed songs do have a higher chance of featuring, as logistic-wise, it makes more sense to bring these never performed songs over, rather than each tour performing the same songs every year. So here's to hoping this video gets outdated super quick, with the North America 2026 tour fast approaching.